God. I've been sitting here for an hour, you guys, as is Marcus.
Feeling pretty dejected right now.
Very dejected.
Hello and welcome to somewhat serious, somewhat silly 30-minute period with Mia and Marcus. We have been deserted by our comrades. How are you feeling today?
I'm okay. Everyone's late, so we just thought we'd record a little something because we're bored. And we're in the studio straight up recording it. And by it, we mean our podcast.
Exactly. It is our podcast.
It is our podcast. Well, it's not right now because no one's here. Fuck you guys.
Mm-hmm. What is a musician without an audience?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like the trees falling in the forest, no one's hearing him play. It's like a really hard time. And I'm the youngest person, that we know, basically.
Yes. Yeah, because you only turned 20 recently.
I turned 20 in February.
Mm-hmm. That is wild. I'm still getting used to being older than people.
Are you used to being the youngest?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But now that I'm in my third year of uni, and there's people who.
Well, me too. I mean, we're functionally the same age.
Yeah, but.
What year did you graduate?
22.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I watch much too much, not true crime, fake crime shows.
Yeah. What's the favorite?
I love Silent Witness.
Okay.
My mum got me super into Silent Witness when I was younger, and I love it. It's a really, really, really good series.
Yeah.
It's been going on for 30 something seasons now, I think.
Yeah.
Or 27 seasons. Great show.
Nice.
I finally learnt how the digitals work here today.
Yeah.
I'm not very good with that kind of thing, but it's honestly not that hard.
Yeah, it's just not, if you've never seen it before, it looks like something out of Star Trek. Though.
It does a little bit. Ren will disagree with us. Ren is our number one Star Trek fan.
Ren is number one Star Trek fan.
Yeah. Afnan's going to be here in 5 minutes. Yippee.
5 minutes.
You guys get 5 more minutes of us being awesome.
Right. Are we actually going to have to post this?
I have no idea. We can decide. Someone can have a listen and be like, this was great or this was shit.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It depends, I guess, on if Diya comes.
It was just a good excuse for us to have an interesting conversation with each other.
It's good practice.
It's totally good practice.
Yeah. I was listening. I was listening to Surge, which is UCID's radio station on the way over here.
They have one.
Not they don't broadcast on the actual radio waves, but you can listen to. They've got they've got a broadcast on through digitally.
We're already similar. I called into theirs the other day.
Oh, how'd that go?
Not called in, but I texted in. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, we are just recording a podcast.
We are just recording a podcast. Yeah. I think this is going to end up going into the episode. To be honest.
Okay. Cool. Excellent.
Because it's funny. Why not?
Yeah.
We're just sitting here alone.
Make up for all the dead time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if these people never show up.
Yeah, excellent.
We love our friends and we love recording our podcast with them. We hate when they're 45 minutes late.
We love recording the podcast with them, which is why we hate when we can't record the podcast with them.
Exactly, you're right. One of my other favourite crime shows is Death in Paradise, which is a lot of propaganda, to be fair, but it's a really cutesy show.
Yeah.
It's it's so great. It's very, very funny and very, very sweet, and I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also I try to critically consume the media I watch.
Yeah.
I do my best. I'm not always great at it, but I try.
Yeah. Sorry, we're still waiting for our host.
We are still waiting for our host.
I like how bald conservative politicians keep getting egged. That's fun.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Fraser Anning is one of my favourite Ozpol moments. Just because I feel when you're thinking about classic Ozpol humour, I feel it's not something that people mention enough.
I skipped class to be here,
You could have gone to class today.
I know that now.
Unfortunately, I'm pretty I'm someone that always has their phone notifications on. Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. Am I?
Mia sneezing ASMR.
There we go. I'm someone that always has their phone notifications on, mostly because I have family that needs to be able to reach me often. So I tend not to turn my phone off.
And your noise family.
Yeah, my noise family. Love you guys.
What are we doing? Because Afnan was supposed to be here an hour 5 minutes ago. Diya was supposed to be here 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, Afnan also did say he was going to be 45 minutes late, so he's now 20 minutes late. 27, no, 21 minutes late.
21, yeah. I feel like I should like Star Trek. you know, like I really liked Doctor Who for a while. I really like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like I really like those sort of episodic speculative fiction, sort of kind of old, like 50-minute shows. I don't like Star Trek.
Have you tried to get into it?
Yeah, I've watched pretty much my younger sibling got really into it for a while, so I've watched the first season of original series. I've watched a decent amount of Next Generation. I've watched a bit of Deep Space Nine. I do not care for it. I don't think it's interesting. That's
really interesting. I don't know. Ren tries to get me to watch it.
Diya has arrived.
Oh, thank God.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, friends. It was great to speak to you.
Welcome back to Make Some Noise, Season 2. This is Episode 5. Coming up in this week's episode, first segment, we are going to be going over the new Clothes Hub initiative with the SRC President, Diya Sengupta. Then, of course, will be Silly Hour. Stay tuned. And to cap things off, we will be going over the private school lobbying for the upcoming federal election with editor and writer Marcus. Welcome to our first segment of this week's podcast, where we're going to be discussing the new Clothes Hub. With me in the studio is Diya Sengupta, resident Silly Hour host, and of course the SRC president.
Until I quit. That is a joke. Quits. I do not plan on quitting yet, but we'll see how many more people push my buttons.
All right, well, first of all, tell us a little bit about the initiative. You've spoken about this on the podcast, I believe, 2-3 episodes prior?
Yes. I was talking to you guys when it was like, okay, conceptualizing it, ordering things for it and all of that. Now it's like out and it's about in the world. And I've only cried about it like twice, which is on average for me doing my job very low.
Well, hey, I mean, that's at least good to hear.
Yeah. But I guess just a little bit about what it is, even though I'm sure some people have listened to the original. Basically, Clothes Hub is founded on the idea of mutual aid, which is that if you have a strong community, it means that people are out there to help you when you need help, and also you are willing to help the people around you just for the sake of your community, just for the sake of, I guess, like having a system where you're not so reliant on, you know, capitalism and the big bucks to get your needs met. And this is done really well in Indigenous communities. We also see this on smaller scales all around. So things like little clothes swaps, little textbook swaps. That's a form of mutual aid. I'm giving whatever I don't need, and then somebody else is benefiting from that. So Clothes Hub is basically seeking to take that principle and apply it to a UNSW scale, because UNSW is a community. We are the UNSW community. And so strengthening that community will, you know, be in our best interest.
Yeah, I think that's really beautiful. This is also sort of we've already got the food hub. So this is sort of, I guess you could say, part 2 of the mutual aid.
Yes, to an extent. The issue with Food Hub and why it's not technically not a form of mutual aid is because there's not the like giving aspect of it. Like you don't give food that you don't need. It's more like directly sourced food that would be going to waste, given to us. And then I guess it's more of a form of wealth redistribution than community building, which is like, I'm not looking down on it. I'm just saying that like that's not technically how mutual aid works. The other big thing with mutual aid is, I guess I always compare it to like, if you need like a friend to help you build an IKEA shelf, you're not going to like send them a Venmo request afterwards being like, hey, I helped you build your shelf, so can you pay me $30 for my time? No,
yeah,
you're just
I charge by the minute, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, it's more so just like, you know, next time, I don't know, they might need a lift to the hospital, and then you'll be like, oh, of course. Because you're not investing, like you're not getting paid to do your job. You are getting paid in your relationship and what the relationship will do for you in the future. Not in like like you owe me one way, but just in like having a stronger relationship is what you are getting out of it.
Yeah, essentially, a win for you is a win for me.
Exactly, pretty much.
Which is a great principle to honestly base really anything off of. But I think this is going to be a great initiative for just the overall student body and community. Could you tell us a little bit more about how the system works?
Of course. So there's 3 donation bins across campus right now.
Oh, perfect. That was going to be my next question.
Yep. So there is one that I've now moved to right at the side of home ground, so like in between, if people know where the basketball courts is and home ground itself, that's where one of the bins is. Then one of the bins is in Food Hub. They will only have it out during service. So like during Food Hub open hours. And then the last one, which is our most successful one so far, is next to the Arc Club space.
Ah, I see. The Art Club space, that's the one next to Vassar.
Yes,
Vassar
that
Steps.
is next to Vassar Steps.
Beautiful.
Like the upper level of Vassar Steps, so near Arc Reception.
All right. Well, that's awesome. I don't really have any other questions about
I guess
the
I can just
initiative,
say very quickly my trials and tribulations, if
Yes,
you will. I love
please.
speaking about myself as if I'm a wizard who has to go on a quest. But I had to empty out one of the clothing bins recently because somebody just put a whole cup of coffee in there.
but wow.
And I don't have anyone else to do it for me, so I had to tip it all out and then go and buy paper towels and spray it down, and I only cried one time, but it was terrible. And the worst part, like, luckily there was only 2 clothing donations, like 2 t-shirts donated. One of them was salvageable, one of them was not. So like, imagine you get like a full like box of clothing donations and somebody just like dumps out their coffee and half-eaten sandwich in there.
That could be an issue, especially with the one next to Homegrounds. Was this the one next to Homegrounds?
So we moved it to next to home ground because my idea was, Foucault's Panopticon. If you think people are watching you go to home ground, then you're not going to like throw trash in it. This was in Sam Cracknell, which is very, very off
Right.
to the side and like next to a vending machine and stuff. So I was like, oh, it's probably that like people are like, oh, it's just been here. No one's going to know. Even if there was another bin next to it, there was another bin right next to it. It was really annoying. But my thing is, if it's not in eyeline, then I feel like people are not, firstly, they can't find it. But secondly, they're just less likely to follow the rules.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to help monitor it. Are the bins like really clearly labeled?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
I don't know what that first guy was on then.
He just wanted to make my life hard,
Yeah.
which people love doing.
That's the life of the SRC president, huh? Actually, follow-up question to that. You said you're the only one who's currently dealing with like the donations, cleaning after it?
So this is like office bearers have their own projects and such for their collectives. This is my project. This is my baby. But also it's run through the SRC, not run through ARC. So because of that, everything is managed by us in that capacity. Anything else is, I guess, contracted by ARC on a needed basis. Whereas a lot of the other initiatives, they're direct collaborations. So because of that, you can like, I guess, like siphon off some of the work to be like, oh, ARC, do this. Oh, like, so-and-so society do this. But this is like the idea behind Clothing Hub was very much the SRC can have its own autonomous, concept from execution to like be able to do such a large scale project without the help of another collaborator. And part of it comes from my hyper independence, but also like, it's just a sentiment. If you are funding a student representative body, so you would like the representative body to be able to represent you without needing to call 50 other people.
I understand that, but at the same time, would you in the future be looking into perhaps getting maybe some other volunteers to help manage it? Because I'd assume it would get quite difficult to help.
Yes,
manage all
it is
three.
a lot of like SRC members also helping me out. It's
Oh,
just this
okay,
was like the
okay.
first week, so that's why it was. I did have help. Shout out Alice. Alice did help me out the first day to just like go around and check everything and I guess like do a little audit to see if they're using the bins properly and everything. But yeah, right now it's a lot of people on SRC helping me with it because, like I said, autonomously the SRC can work on a project itself without needing help from other people. In theory, once the scale increases, then we can look at getting external volunteers. But just for now, proof of concept, I would like to keep it in-house as much as possible.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm excited to see how the entire Clothing Hub thing goes.
I am too. I'm excited. I'm also worried, but I am excited. Also, ARC has been very helpful and given me a lot of resources and a lot of help. And, they are also doing a lot of like promotional help for me. They got me one of those giant, when you like walk up the Bassett steps, how they have like all those big posters by ARC out of the cardboard. They got one of those clothes hubs. So,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, ARC is being really helpful. It's just people like making my life hard. Not ARC. Not ARC. ARC is actually not the people. But yeah. Also, just very quickly, with the clothing donation bin, step 1. Step 2, the big clothes swap will be on the 16th of April. So from the time you're listening to this, it'll be the following week. It'll be on a Wednesday. It'll be in the quad. We'll have the whole quad booked out, full of clothes for you to just take what you need. The only thing is there will be a line. Also, if you're a part of an SRC collective, you might be able to get early entry. So keep an eye on with your collective
fun.
spaces for that one. But just in general, it's not like, oh, I donated one thing, so I get one thing back. It's just line up, take what you need, and then leave the line.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. Thank you so much. And we'll conclude the segment there.
Amazing. Thank you.
All right. Welcome to your favorite segment of the podcast, Silly Hour.
Yay.
Say hello, sillies.
Hi, friends.
Hello, dear listeners.
All right. As always, I'm joined in the studio with Mia and no longer acting as the SRC president for this segment, at least, Diya Sengupta.
Nothing I say is liable to any parties involved in the SRC.
Yes, this is strictly silly. We don't sue us for anything we say. And going off of that, the only people who, I guess, would be suing us if we said anything harmful to them this time around are the people involved with F1, which is this week's topic.
Yep.
Mia, would you like to tell us a bit more?
The reason we are talking about this is that I hosted a F1 Drive to Survive season 7 or 8, the season that just came out, watch party quite a few weeks ago now. We were meant to record this segment ages ago, but alas, Diya was in Melbourne. We invited Diya along to this. Diya then proceeded to have a really enjoyable time, actually, because DTS is basically just like Formula One, like Love Island, I guess.
I am not a Formula One knower at all. However, I'm a reality TV knower.
Yeah, it's like just reality TV. And so like that was really a fun experience. Also like Diya just thinks the drivers are hot.
Yeah, that is true. I will go over the hottest drivers. It is
And
a very
the
important
problem is
segment.
she thinks that Lance Stroll is hot.
He looks like
No!
a kicked puppy in like a hot
No,
way.
but once you
I'm
watch him
searching this up
drive...
immediately.
No.
He looks so pathetic.
No.
Lance Stroll,
In
Canadian.
a hot way.
And like Diya loves a pathetic man and I could
Okay, I
hate
can-
nothing more.
I kind of see it.
Oh, Afnan.
No, I get what she means. I get what she means about him looking like a
Please.
kicked puppy.
Please don't do
Yeah,
this to
right?
me.
He looks like a kicked puppy.
He
But I don't like kicked puppy.
see. He looks like the type of kid who,
Afnan, is your type kicked puppy?
no. But what I'm saying is, he looks like the type of kid who would have been in band, and you would have run into him in the hallway, and he would have like walked up to you, kind of like creepily out of sight, and just tried to awkwardly initiate conversation by going like, "Do you watch anime?" You know what I mean?
Oh god.
He looks
and like
exa-
that's Diya's type.
That's
yeah.
not true.
Yeah, he looks
Well,
like he
Diya
would play
likes
the
anime.
drums.
I do like anime, but also like
He plays the drums in a marching band. That's
But
the
also,
vibe
like-
he gives me.
okay, this is such an aside, but I don't trust men who don't like watch anything outside of like big action fantasy anime. It's like go watch a romance anime, nerd.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
But anyways,
Anime
I
is not
think
the topic this
speaking
week.
of anime, I think I'm going to start with my summary
Oh sure.
of what this felt like. This felt like watching a sports anime and Real Housewives at the same time, and with all of the homoeroticism of sports anime and all the messiness of Real Housewives.
We were literally sitting there on my couch watching Lewis Hamilton Toto Wolff sad edits.
Yeah, that's so true.
For people that don't know the lore.
No, we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Okay.
I will say, however, from episode 3 onwards, okay, this is my summary. Episode 3 onwards, there was no housewives. It was just the sports anime. And I feel like all sports anime at the middle of the series really slugged down because they prioritize the sport over the homoerotic tension. So therefore, that is my review of Drive to Survive broadly. Also, disclaimer, I do not like F1 in the sense of I could not care less about who won the race. However, I do like seeing, like, questionably homoerotic subtext and the girlies fight. Lastly, okay, this is my big caveat. I think from a reality TV standpoint, like a reality TV production standpoint, it is not a fulfilling narrative to have because, like, the way that reality TV works is, like, you know, you get to know the winner and then you're like, oh my god, they're going through so much, and then they win at the end and you're like, yay, I love that, I'm so glad they won. Or you look at the underdog versus the winner and then you, like, root for the underdog more because they won. I feel like because there's so many cooks in the F1 kitchen, you don't get to, like, individually have a whole season arc with anyone. It's more like every episode is an individual character arc.
I think
Interesting
what's
way to put
important
it.
to note about Drive to Survive is that the season has already happened. everyone knows who's going to win. Everyone already knows everything that happened. This is just the reality TV version of the shit you watched live.
Yeah.
Also, really importantly, like, DTS is not most F1 fans' only exposure to the drivers. Like, we already have formed our own opinions of them and their character, and so we are already rooting for people. But Drive to Survive is just like the fun, cutesy reality TV version of what the fuck just happened, and also a bit of behind the scenes stuff, of course.
Right.
Okay.
I will say I don't have much to add to the conversation. I don't care for F1, and I've never seen Drive to Survive, so I'm just kind of here.
Can I ask why you don't care for F1?
I don't care about cars, honestly.
But it's got nothing to do with cars and everything to do with politics, Afnan.
Okay.
That's not even true.
It has everything to do with politics.
It is equally about the cars and the people driving the cars as it is to politics.
Okay, I don't give a fuck about the cars. That's not why I watch F1.
Well, it's about the people driving the cars and like how good they are driving the cars.
I could not give less of a fuck about that.
To me, F1 and all racing sports is just kind of a waste of my time to watch. Does that kind of make sense?
Well, to be fair, I just don't like sports in general.
Yeah,
I'm just
okay,
not.
that's
I was
fair.
going to say I'm not a sports girl, but that's canonically not true.
Very
I feel
fair
like there's
there,
such a big difference between watching a sport where a bunch of buff heads like hit each other, or a sport where
which is
like
fun.
people go vroom. Like it's
Disagree.
different.
I think that if they made like a reality TV show about like the NRL or whatever, I would consume it the same way.
Dude, that would go hard. But okay, the only good sport I've gotten into recently is armored MMA because that's at least fun.
What?
Armored MMA, basically just guys.
Are you well? What is this?
No. Okay. There's MMA, right? People fighting. And then there's armored MMA, which is medieval sort of HEMA fighting.
Okay, it's that
is
in
this
cars.
Is
Like,
this
they
why
be
you're
bashing
nodding
into
along,
each other.
Marcus? Because this is from your hood. Where they just like wear armor and go to fight out in the town square.
Part of the Marcus lore is that he lives and has lived in places that we do not believe is real. Perhaps a future segment, but
Yeah.
Marcus, to me, you're honestly like a unicorn.
Do you want me to turn my mic? Or do I not have right of reply?
No, you don't get to reply.
Right to reply.
Our amazing editor Marcus is in the studio with us as always, and we are not allowing him to be mic'd up for this session.
No. But we're
yeah.
referring to him like he's mic'd up.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is the fun of it. This is the fun of Silly Hour.
I'm not going to say the thing I was going to say.
yeah.
Okay, so back to F1. My first real note, besides the summary, is how is Lewis Hamilton not related to Alexander Hamilton? I call that stolen valor.
One of my favorite memes ever is that meme that's like, Hamilton won 8 world championships while writing all those manuscripts. Like, it's so funny.
Secondly, okay, I'm just getting into the contents of the first episode. So first episode, there's 2
Dia stopped paying attention after the first episode.
I did because the first episode was the good episode.
Fair enough.
I did also pay attention to another one of the episodes. So there's only 2 episodes I really paid attention to. So the only 2 I'm going to talk about because they were like adequately dramatic enough for me to care. Which is the first one. There's 2 subplots. 1, the gay one. 2, the Ginger Spice one.
Okay, I'm gonna ask about the ginger spice.
Okay,
one
we're gonna
first.
start with the
We'll
Ginger
get
Spice
there.
one. Okay, so there is this guy who I did not Christian Horner. Christian Horny.
We call him Christian Horny because he did a thing.
Okay, great.
And he was married to / engaged to.
He's still married to Ginger
Okay,
Spice.
well he's married to Ginger Spice, like the Ginger Spice of the Spice Girls.
Oh, okay. I'm actually okay. I get it now. I thought you were just saying Ginger Spice is like a code name for someone.
No.
No, like
He
the
is
real
married to
Ginger
the
Spice.
Ginger Spice, and he allegedly.
Which, by the way, is my dream.
Understandable.
Yeah, he allegedly cheated on Ginger Spice through sexually harassing his employees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not where I thought this was going.
Yeah,
at
no. So
all.
the first
This
episode
is
is like
technically
big sex
alleged.
scandal.
Like
yeah.
he did
Allegedly.
get acquitted of this. Like it didn't. Like,
Right.
yeah, they didn't confirm that this happened.
Allegedly, there's a sex scandal in the first episode, and that's when I went, "Oh my god, guys, this actually might be a fun viewing party." So yeah, that was the first subplot. To which my entire thing was like Ginger Spice, like the Ginger Spice, like yeah, that's my girl.
You're gonna cheat on the Ginger Spice.
Bro, if I had the Ginger Spice, I personally would not cheat on her. I'm just saying. I would not fumble that bag.
Hard bag to fumble, frankly, and he managed it. Like,
Okay, the second the second dot point here is Toto Wolff and Lewis Hamilton go through their first sapphic situationship, brackets knee deep in the singular seat of the F1 car.
Yup. As I said, we were literally watching sad Lewis Hamilton and Toto Wolff edits, and then there's this one scene where they're like, Toto, are you crying? Like, about Lewis Hamilton leaving.
So the plot line of this one is basically that Lewis Hamilton and Toto Wolff have been on the same team for like ever. And...
See, I have no idea who any of these people are, so I've just been searching up their
Lewis
pictures.
Hamilton won 8 Drivers' World Championships. He's like a big name in F1. He is like probably one of the best drivers there's ever been in the sport.
I'm gonna be honest, the only guy I know is Max Verstappen because of that dumbass fucking, like that dumbass fucking
him and
theme
his
he
thick
had.
neck. He's so annoying. Anyway, I hate him. Lewis Hamilton and Toto Wolff. So Toto Wolff was his like manager for like ages on the
12
team,
years.
12 years. They were really close, like obviously after 12 years working together. And then Lewis Hamilton chose last year to not renew his contract with Mercedes and move to Ferrari, which is obviously like one of the opposing teams. Big stuff, big moves. Everyone was very upset about this.
And it was also like filmed and portrayed like it was a sapphic situation.
Yeah, it really was.
It was very much like watching him in the distance go away and knowing that it's gonna end one day.
Just some girl in red playing in the background.
Literally,
so
there is like
many edits of Lewis Hamilton and Toto Wolff to like sad sapphic
there's Chapel
music.
Row and there's Claro and there's girl in red.
Claro was
Chloe
great.
Mariando.
Anything you can imagine that a sad lesbian has wrote, there has been an edit of these two men to it.
Incredible.
Bangers.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So the footnote here is I think Toto Wolff is really hot. I think
really
he's a
hot.
dilf.
My partner and I literally have like a hall pass, and the hall pass for both of us specifically is Toto Wolff. Like we've both agreed that if Toto Wolff happens to come into our lives and wants to whatever, we're allowed to do it.
Toto Wolff is really hot. But as Pepsi said, Toto Wolff is a dilf who replaces his wife of 12 years with an 18-year-old because as soon as Lewis Hamilton left the team, the new person to replace him is an 18-year-old who doesn't even have like a license to drive a real car, yet is now going to the F1 championships.
I mean,
Hello, Kimi Räikkönen. We love you.
Yeah. I really like him because his first scene was him with a giant teddy bear, and I went, "Oh my god, bear!" When I saw that. So okay, that is the first episode that I paid attention to. The second episode I paid attention to was Oscar. Mainly because Oscar's from my hood. Shout out Melbourne. Shout out Albert Park F1. Shout out to my hood.
We also love Oscar Piastri. What a guy.
Well, I wrote down, Dia, go into your anecdote about Haileybury in my notes, which is Oscar is from this high school in Melbourne called Haileybury. And I went to Haileybury once for a debating tournament, and I just need to tell you what it was like going to Haileybury. You go there.
please tell us.
You go to Haileybury, you walk into the foyer, and they have like Mikey gates, like opal gates at the front.
What?
And you need to scan your fingerprint to be able to go into class. And you
You're
scan
shitting
your
me.
fingerprint to leave the school so that they know when you've come into school. and when you
Imagine
haven't come
giving
into
your
school.
high school the ability to like biometrically
That's what
scan
I
you.
said. I said,
What
dude,
kind
what
of
do you
fucking
mean?
cyberpunk dystopian ass school is this?
It's like one of those really ritzy but like modernist ones. Because like I went to like a relatively ritzy school, but I went to like one of those old traditionalist like ritzy schools. Whereas like he went to like one of those like new age modernism, like embrace the AI schools.
Yeah, I can tell by the fucking biometric
Yeah.
scanner. What the fuck?
That being said, it was a really pretty school. Like just like it was pretty. That is what I will say. As pretty as you can get for a modernist in a sense of like it still was artsy and had character.
Can I just say, you would love Oscar Piastri's sister. She's all over TikTok. She's like really into anime, and she like makes all these like jokes about like being Oscar Piastri's sister, but also she's like a very cool person.
Okay, cool. I know that like his family is also like they're clouded up online.
They are very clouded up. I think his mom goes on like podcasts all the time.
Oh.
You're gonna have to be specific because I just found
Can
three
we get-
sisters.
Oh, a Hattie. The one that looks like gay.
Again, you're gonna have to be more specific. I'm sorry, there's
Sorry,
at
you
least
stopped looking at my mic.
two sapphics here. One is wearing
Wait, show me the photo.
one is wearing like a shirt that has like a
The one on the
cutoff.
left.
Okay.
Anyway, she's
dear
really cool.
listeners, I had to do
We
that
love you,
like
Hattie.
finger thing to figure out which
Also,
my left was.
unironically, Oscar Piastri's mum, please come on this podcast.
Question, because I did not write it down. I'm so sorry. I wrote Oscar and the British one.
Oh, Lando Norris.
Yes, okay, cool. So it was Lando Norris.
okay.
I
Another
fucking
name I
hate.
know.
I'm sorry. Nothing could make me like Lando Norris. He really pisses me off.
Oh, I just like it was like somebody from my hood and somebody from the UK.
Oh my God.
Two people going against each other.
No, they're not going against each other. They're on the same team.
Yes, but we'll get into it.
Okay, Lando literally has like the broccoli head haircut.
Yeah, he
Like,
looks very British in a bad
he is
way.
quite British, yeah.
Oh my god.
But
This is the guy who like catcalls women outside of a pub after getting drunk off of 2 seltzer waters.
so I really like this
Allegedly. Allegedly.
I really like the storyline, which is basically Oscar and Lando, they're on the same team. And so I learned that the way F1 scoring works is that you have 2 drivers for every team and you do the race as if it's a normal race and you're like going against each other. But they add up the placements of both of your drivers, so your combined like lowest number is who wins it as a team, and then also the individual driver wins like the individual driver's bracket. So ideally, in a way that you 100% win the race, your drivers will be coming first and second.
Yeah.
Which
And also,
I do not
most
know.
importantly, your drivers should not be racing each other,
Yes.
or because that has the ability to spin both cars out, and therefore you get no points, or one car doesn't finish, and therefore the team loses in general.
Exactly. Because you need to like give way
Famously,
to your
this
other
has
driver.
not always been the case. Like drivers have raced each other and like caused problems. Before.
Exactly. Like, you need your strategist to decide who gets to do what. Hey, let Lewis Hamilton take this turn. Hey, let this other person do this, blah, blah, blah. And so Oscar and Lando's storyline is that they're both 2 young F1 drivers who are, like, have relatively, like, lower experience to, like, people who've been driving 12 years.
And also, critically, this year they have the best car.
Yeah.
Whereas last year they were coming, last year in terms of DTS terms, so like technically 2 years ago, they were coming like well close to last.
Right.
In terms of like car. But like this actual year, 2025, and last year, they had a really good car.
So best car, basically no experience.
Not no experience, but like very young in
Yeah, I mean compared to
in
everyone
F1
else.
terms,
yeah.
Yeah.
But because of that, Oscar and Lando decide that they do want to race each other and not go with the tactical strategy of letting Lando be first and then let Oscar be like give
Some
way
context to this is that McLaren originally, which is their team, originally decided that they would not have a number 1 driver. Most teams have a number 1 driver, which is like usually the more experienced driver, someone who's maybe won some championships, got more points, doing a better job. They decided that both of their drivers were good enough that they wouldn't do that, which means that they basically put in a thing called papaya rules where they were allowed to race each other, which is a super risky thing to do. They then revoked this and gave Lando the number 1 driver position.
And I personally was like, oh, yeah, this is all the angst of watching reality TV. Well, like, oh no, who's going to get it? Because, like, as somebody who does not, like, know anything about F1 outside of, like, my day watching half of Drive to Survive, I was like, oh my god, who's going to win? Like, this is the first time that I was actually invested in who's going to win.
Not only that, the thing that they didn't put in DTS, which I'm really sad they didn't put in, like, enough, was the race where Lando was asked to give Oscar his position because Oscar had newer tyres, and Lando got so salty about it on the radio, and Oscar ended up winning that race, and it was so sour for him because Lando, like, gave up his position so unwillingly, and, like, Oscar won his first ever race, but it was, like, really, really sad because, like, it was not given up to him. Like, he didn't win it as well as he should have.
This is my proposal. I think that
Alright.
they should get somebody who, like, films Love Island to join the production staff of Drive to Survive, because I know that they would not have let that fumble happen on the, like, reality TV casting. Also, just very quickly, quick firing my other takes. One, Alex Albon and Lando Norris are giving Lewis Tomlinson and Harry Styles during the Tumblr era, because they're like, you know, just like best friends. They're BFFs who, like, you know, they're like, I love him. If I'm having like a bad day, I know I can call my BFF.
That's so funny.
I
I
need
love
the
Alex
fanfic
Albon. He's
now.
great.
Yeah, I like him too. Also, okay, so this is like lore I've learned outside of, you know, watching the show. Apparently, they all became Twitch streamers during COVID. Because they
yeah.
could not drive, so they all became Twitch streamers. And I just think that's really, really funny.
Okay, I need to know who was streaming what. I can already tell the
Apparently, they were
British dude
all
Lando was
streaming on,
probably...
like, driving simulator.
Oh yeah, driving.
Okay, I mean, that checks out. That's kind of boring, though.
I also wrote, I love Ren and I love cake, because Ren made us cake.
Ren made us McLaren coloured cake.
And also Mia made us brownies, and they were also really good.
Slade. We had a great time at that watch party.
And also the last thing I wrote is Carlos. Meow, 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 meow.
Diya spent one entire episode where Carlos gets his appendix out and is shirtless the whole time, like literally thirsting over this man. To be fair, Carlos Sainz is hot.
He's hot, but also like he got his appendix removed, so he's like a little bit beaten up from it, and he's like looks just a little pathetic. Just a little bit.
Diya loves a pathetic man.
Just like a touch of pathetic.
Oh yeah, he's definitely your type. He's got that sort of Henry Cavill-esque kind of look going on.
Yeah, he's a bit rugged.
Yeah,
He's a bit rough around the edges.
With that sort of 5 o'clock shadow thing going on with the stubble.
Exactly. Well, I wrote Carlos got his appendix out and his slutty little waist. But yeah, I think
much better choice than
the last thing
Stroll.
is what kind of name is Charles Leclerc?
Leclerc.
French.
Yeah. Well,
Charles
derogatory.
Leclerc.
Oh, sorry. The last thing is really important. Two things that are really important. One, I felt like watching the F1 race itself felt a little bit like Mardi Gras, where it's like product placement after product placement after brand logo.
Yeah.
Right.
And then...
To be fair, sponsorship is like half the game.
I know.
F1.
I was like, why does Red Bull have a team? Like, I understand car companies, but like Red Bull...
Have you heard about V-Carb?
No.
New team. Well, not new team,
Well,
new
I
name.
just think of the
V-Carb.
Visa, Cash App. Yeah, Visa, Cash App, Red Bull.
Ugh.
What
But
the
also,
fuck?
Or
like-
Visa, Cash App, Racing
But
Bulls,
also,
I
like,
think.
Kick and Steak. Like, the
Kick Sauber?
Yes.
Yeah, Stake F1 team.
Steak, yeah, like the steak gambling stuff.
It's like Kick Sauber Stake F1 team.
Yeah.
Isn't that a conflict of interest? Having a gambling
Potentially.
site, having a team?
Well, to
That's
be
kinda
fair,
fucked.
it's like an online, like, playing games gambling team.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last thing I said is I yelled brown person when I saw a singular brown person in the background of McLaren in episode 7 because it's such little EDI, it's giving Love is Blind season 7.
Yeah, so true. Lewis Hamilton
So
is,
real.
I think, like,
The
Lewis
only-
Hamilton, Yuki Tsunoda, Zhou Guanyu, Alex Albon, I think are the only people of... and Checo Perez up until this year because
What about
he's
Carlos
Mexican.
Sainz?
I think Carlos Sainz is Spanish.
Yeah, he's basically an honorary. I give him the pass.
Anyway, the EDI
let
is
him
not
call
very
me a
good.
curry muncher.
There's
He
quite
looks
a few South Asian people, which is great. Sorry,
Yay.
Southeast, East Asian. And then there's Lewis Hamilton, and that's like it.
We love to see it.
Yeah, so to conclude, I think that my pitch is that they should, swap the production team for Love is Blind and Drive to Survive for one singular season.
I can agree with that. I would have more fun with DTS, to be fair.
Yeah.
Even though I already love it.
All right, beautiful.
I guess, yeah, that is my thoughts on the F1 Drive to Survive as somebody who cannot even drive. I do not even have my learners. I will learn to drive this year. I promise you, I'm saying that on the podcast. I will learn to drive, but that is my thoughts.
All right, well, would you like to take us out with one of your classic signature Diya moments?
Oh my god, you're so right. I need a bars. Oh, I think I'm just gonna reuse one of my car themed ones.
Sure.
Which is knee deep in the singular seat of the F1 car.
And he's eating me out?
Yeah, well, that was the implication, but I did not know if I was allowed to talk about eating people out on the podcast.
I think it's fine. We've talked about
Yeah,
worse.
look, we'll bleep it if we have to.
Yeah.
Shout out to
it's fine.
eating people out.
Let's go.
Thank you, Diya.
Hello, and welcome to our final segment for this week's podcast. We're going to be going over an article that, as of the day we are recording, just went up. With me in the studio is Marcus, our lovely editor, and of course the person who wrote the article. Marcus, would you like to tell us a little bit more about your article on the private school lobby?
Right. Hey, thank you so much, Afnan. It is awesome to be here. This was my first proper article for Noise, so very excited. So the article essentially outlines how Independent Schools Australia, which is like the peak lobbying group, advocacy group for private schools across Australia. They represent over 1,000 schools, and how they're trying to campaign to, basically essentially convince people, especially parents, to, in the upcoming federal election, vote for candidates that will essentially, prioritize private schools, protect private school funding, and they're also trying to get this like $50 million innovation fund.
It would be incredible if it was just the $50. I think, and no taxpayer would miss that. But $50 million is a bit much.
Yeah.
As this is the podcast, and I'm allowed to be a little bit more unfiltered, and I don't have to be quite as objective as you were. We can really let loose on our thoughts about this.
Yes.
So, before you go into this, can I just say, as somebody who's famously only ever been to public schools, some of whom were like very, very, let's say, extortionist on the student fees. I cannot imagine being a parent and having to send a kid, let alone, let's say, multiple kids to a private school. I mean, my God, the fees would eat you alive.
Absolutely. I think, to me, so, obviously when I wrote the article, I tried to be very objective. Like it is very much like a hard news piece, right? It's just, these are the facts. This is what's happening. I do, in terms of my position on private schools, I view private schools in a similar way to sort of how I view the monarchy, right? Where it's like, it's not the most pressing issue. Like it's not what's destroying Australia or whatever. In some ways you could make an argument that there's actually beneficial aspects to it, but I just really dislike it because to me it represents a fundamental inequality in our society. That's
a really good way to put it.
So that was sort of, like you, I've only ever been to a public school. I grew up on the South Coast, went to Ulladulla High School, which is the most overcrowded school on the South Coast. So that's fun.
That is indeed fun. In the article, you detail out about how a lot of public schools are, like Australia's public school system is extremely underfunded.
Yes. So there was in 2011, I believe, there was the Gonski report, which was led by UNSW Chancellor David Gonski, and that if you were going to primary school around that time, you might remember like teachers with like signs and stuff like titled like "I give a Gonski" and really sort of like advocating for the report to be adopted. And that set out the schools resource standard, I believe it's called, the SRS, which really just outlined, it was a method of calculating how much funding from the government each school should receive based on how many students they have and various other equality factors, such as taking into account the factors like disability, First Nations people, like other things like that. And 98% of public schools in Australia are not funded to that standard. Now, the federal government has now, as of a few weeks ago, reached agreements with every state and territory so that, in theory, over the next 10 years, like in 10 years' time, all public schools in Australia should be fully funded, which is excellent news. But right now, private schools, which still receive like billions of dollars from the federal government, they're pretty much almost all of them are fully funded, and a lot of them are significantly overfunded.
I can actually attest to that, having gone to, I won't name the school, but if anybody out there is aware of the GPS system and the GPS stuff, let's just say I've had a few encounters with a few private school students, and yes, they are much more well off than my little public school was.
An interesting thing which I sort of came across with researching the article, I did sort of come in with this assumption that private schools, because they have all these extra resources, I sort of assumed they would get better grades. And to be clear, people at private schools do typically get better grades, like on average, than people at public schools. But the evidence seems to suggest that that's more due to other factors related to socioeconomic status and geographic location. So, if your parents are wealthy enough to be able to send you to a private school, they're also likely to be able to afford to get you private tutoring. Also, it's like less likely that you'll be in a position where you have to spend time working to support your family or whatever, so you'll be able to spend more time studying. And also, I think just a lot of more wealthy people are more likely to have university degrees, so you're more likely to grow up in an environment that values education if you are from a wealthier background. So again, all of these factors are. So it's not the private school itself typically that creates the higher grades, if that makes sense.
Right. It's more of an environment where already high achieving students are sort of grouped together because of things like socioeconomic status.
Absolutely, which I think does create a sort of echo chamber or sort of like privilege chamber, because a lot of the people, this is veering beyond sort of like the data and more going towards my own personal experiences.
That's what this is for.
Absolutely. There's, in a lot of cases with private schools, because it is typically a lot more privileged people, and also because they are, in a lot of cases, segregated based on gender, which obviously is not the case in the public school system. There is there's quite a bit of privilege there, and in my experience, often a lack of awareness of their own privilege, which can, like, look, to be clear, I have friends who went to private school who are absolutely lovely, but there's just, sometimes you meet people and you can tell, it's like, oh, yeah, you went to private school.
For sure. Not really going to expound on that. Don't really want to offend anyone with my personal biases and unbridled hate towards anything and everything. But going off of that, a lot of public schooling, as you noted in your article, isn't just these independent schools, but they're also religious institutions.
Yes. Catholic schools especially make up a significant portion of schools in Australia. I think it's about 18%. And then beyond that, there's a lot of Anglican schools. And I think there's like a few Jewish schools as well. It's like various Christian denominations. And that can be very appealing to a lot of parents, like especially if they are a particularly religious family. Although Australia is not a particularly religious country, all things considered.
Not anymore.
Yes, because as I said, the Catholic schools especially, like the Catholic schools played a big part in early Australian education.
Yes.
They did a lot of good, I think, to an extent, in providing a service where previously there probably wouldn't have been one. But it, in many ways, seems like a slightly obsolete system now.
Yes, definitely. Australia has moved on to a more secular way of life, which, as a religious person myself, I think is the way to go. Since again, we're a massive melting pot. We are a multicultural nation. Not having a, I suppose, separation of church and state is a massive issue. I mean, you can see that with the rise of religious fanaticism and right-wing politics in the US, but that's a topic for another time. Tell us a little bit more about what the ISA is actually doing in the lobbying for the upcoming federal election. Yeah,
so the ISA, they're running campaigns, and I believe 17 seats they're focused on. It's I believe 6 Labor, 4 Teals, 4 Greens, 2 Liberal, 1 Nationals. So they're going for all 4 Green seats, and but like their primary target is Labor. Interestingly, I don't think they've stated they're not backing a specific party or candidate so far, from what I can see. Which is a little confusing. They've got their sort of like 5 key priorities on their website that they're sort of pushing for, and they've reached out to They've reached out to the coalition, Labor, the Greens, and the Teals, like asking, like, hey, where do you stand on these issues? Will you be backing us, etc. At time of writing, none of those parties or groups have responded to their email, which is a bit funny, in my opinion.
That is quite interesting. You would assume that a lobbying group would have honed in on perhaps 1 or 2 political parties that they would hope would back them.
Yeah, I guess they don't want to just like throw their weight. I mean, a lot of groups will like. I think a lot of like coal and gas groups, for example, donate to both parties, right?
Yes.
It's sort of playing both sides. But yeah,
we'd love having our politicians being in the pockets of big corporations.
Yes, yeah. Oh, it's my favorite thing about Australia.
Love it. Let's go, Gina Reinhardt.
Yeah. But yeah, so the thing is, these groups, again, because the other thing I discussed in the article is how private school education, it's grown significantly in recent years. I talked about 2023 to 2024. Public school education, number of students enrolled in public schools, barely grew. It grew by 0.2%. in Australia over the past in 2023 to 24, despite population growth, whereas private schools grew significantly. I think like 2.3%. And more broadly, independent schools over the past 5 years or so, their enrollments have grown by something like 18%. They've skyrocketed.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, and I can't recall the exact percentage. It's something like 35% of children in Australia are now educated in non-government schools. So the ISA, like, they represent a significant portion of the education landscape, I guess, in Australia.
That's a significant amount of power to be holding.
Yeah, as they would have access, right, to a lot of parents specifically, right, who are, very important voting demographic. So they, depending on how hard they push this, they can potentially wield quite a bit of influence because parents want what's best for their children, right? Like, that is a massive determinant of how people will vote.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any insight as to maybe why this is a thing, about why the amount of enrollments has exploded like that?
Yeah, we talked earlier, public schools are critically underfunded in Australia, and it's like, in 10 years' time they'll be funded to the minimum standard, but most people who are currently enrolled in school aren't going to be there in 10 years' time, right? Parents want what's best for their children now. And if they think they can pay more to get a better outcome for their children, they're willing to pay it, and I think that's very understandable. That makes a lot of sense. The problem is, of course, that a lot of people can't afford to get a better outcome for to pay more for a better outcome for their children. It's like $5,500, I think, is like the median cost for private school education in Australia. So a lot of people, a lot of Australians are living paycheck to paycheck. They cannot afford that price, which leads to this increase, which, if this trend continues, can lead to that increased segregation, right? Where private schools are where you go where you're poor. Public schools are where you go if you're poor.
Oh man, how great would it be if private schools were for the poor?
Yeah, I mean, there's scholarships and such, but public schools are where you go where you're poor. Private schools are where you go if you're rich, and that's all there is to it, which just leads to this segregation, this limiting of opportunities, which I think is really just antithetical to what Australia at least should stand for,
and to what education should stand for.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's supposed to be equality, all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for hopping on the mic for this segment and going over your article. That was very informative.
Yeah, all good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and we will wrap this up here. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Make Some Noise podcast. If you liked it, share it with your friends, talk about it, read our articles, give us money, please. As I say at the end of every episode, we are a non-profit. We fund everything ourselves. So if you'd like to support independent student journalism and keep this podcast alive, please send us some money. Or you can join us, help the team. Links are, I believe, on the Spotify description and on our website, which is noise@unsw.com. Once again, thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.